The CEO that pivots 3 times in 18 months is not a visionary.
Content is now immediately just about worthless overnight.
Companies that pivot 1 to 2 times are far more likely to raise more capital, like a factor of 2.5 times.
When you hear pivot, don't get all weird, don't freak out.
And I think that's just how founders and C-suite management types are wired. It's tough for that crowd.
You know what would even be more interesting and make our thing great? We're going to make our own content. But it is tens of billions of dollars they spend in original content. This is Netflix. In original content a year.
Internally, they have to justify somehow that dollar amount.
Josh, the most powerful words you can say in a pitch deck is, you're listening to Burn Rate and Bullshit, the show where founders, suits, and corporate clowns all get called the fuck out.
We're Josh Robinson and Mike Nathan, entrepreneurs turned VCs.
With zero filters, strong opinions, and a bullshit detector set to high.
Welcome to the only business podcast that actually tells it like it is.
I'm a desperate man. Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.
Mike, I was really excited when I saw the topic for this episode because you and I
Is that a human emotion you're experiencing?
excitement. Yeah. human emotion.
Good for you.
The reason I was excited about it is I really felt like this would be the episode where I could just roast you. Because because you've been the CEO that enjoys a good pivot, and I've been on the management team that needs to go execute the pivot. And I thought this would be a really great
A lot of good content
episode
here.
to kind of gut
content.
you on that. And the more I prepped for it, the more I realized that pivots are actually a really good thing for a startup.
Remember where we were going? We were going.
Yeah. No, that's not to say there aren't cautionary tales there, and I've got some interesting statistics, and I know you found some really cool things too. But we're talking about the big pivot, and specifically the CEO and how that person makes those decisions. So, what have you seen work really well in that space? And then maybe let's talk about some horror stories around a pivot too.
Well, I'm glad I can be a subject matter expert in your eyes on this.
Took a while, but we found something.
We got something.
Yeah.
We got something here. Mike, you don't like to stick to things long, do you? But I think it's a good and interesting topic for anybody, not only just founders, VC, angel investors. When you hear pivot, don't get all weird, don't freak out. And I think we are here to say there is a pivot tax. There is a cost to changing your mind later. Hopefully you've changed your mind because of new circumstances, a new set of facts.
Yeah.
Some trend hits you in the face like, hey, this isn't going to work, right?
What does that tax receipt look like though? Because you got wasted engineering sprints. You've got employees that quit because I thought I was building this company. Now you want me to build that company? I'm not passionate about that.
Yeah. So I would
Confuse customers,
there's that.
investors.
Well, you got the list.
Right?
So I would even say I wouldn't worry about one of the things you said. I won't worry about employees quitting. That's the least of your problems, sort of.
Yeah. We don't like employees.
Well, it's not that. It's like they're more likely
Units
to stick
of
around.
economic input. Is that what you mean?
Yes, the units of economic input, the employees, Josh.
Humans.
The revenue per
Why not
human.
worry about that though? Because
Well, here's what I'm saying is worry about because you hired you so much time, effort into training them. You've been paying them now for a year. Now you're pivoting. They are likely obsolete. Yeah, pretty please with sugar on top, quit. I need to hire a different person running down a different thing. I don't need the old.
So I saw a statistic that on average, an early stage startup has an annual employee turnover rate of almost 40%. Like
checks
38%. Don't panic about that, is what you're saying.
I don't think so.
Because that's indicative of you're getting the right people.
But there's a lot of, this is pre-pivot. This is just generally how they sit around, right? That's the study said.
No, just early stage.
Yeah, early stage.
So the assumption is there's pivots happening.
Yeah,
right? But
so there's pivots happening. So I wouldn't. That's not bad. That's not a, oh my gosh, my leadership style sucks. Startups are hard. Period.
yeah,
You're likely not paying top of market to have people stick around. You have to be bought into the vision. It's going to be super super tense times.
mm-hmm.
If you and I fall out and start barking at each other, the propensity for you to quit
that would never
goes up.
happen. That would never happen.
Why would it? But some people aren't built that way to have that, then kind of dust themselves off. So none of that surprises me. But what I'm thinking about, Josh, is the pivot tax is it's the mental drain of, because if you're a really good company, sorry, I'm sort of babbling, but if you're a really good company, you're super focused on the one thing. I'm going after this. That's the thing we're going to do. Everything else is noise, signal and noise. And when you have that kind of concentration, I think your tax goes up because you're not building for the other contingencies. All your time, money, and effort are going into the thing. So we say, hey, just kidding. We're not going B2B anymore. We're going to go to the consumer. Your marketing likely changes your messaging, which means all your collateral assets, every ad, every brochure, etc., even your old content is now immediately just about worthless.
Yeah.
Overnight. There is the people you've hired, how you might even account, how you do your accounting. So there's a tax for it. I think what we believe, because we've done it once, maybe twice, what we believe is paying all that tax, paying all that stuff, the refocus, all that complication is worth it. Because if you're going down the wrong path, you're hosed anyway. You're screwed anyway. So if you're going to pivot, know that it's going to cost you something, and you can't do it every day. You need to be data-driven, consumer or client feedback driven, something that makes you do that pivot. And you maybe get one a year, one, maybe two in your first three, maybe. I wouldn't do it more than that. But you got to pivot when you know it, though.
It's
I'm
definitely
talking
been
about both sides
our
of my mouth.
experience that pivoting is a must and it works. And it's not just our experience. It's more than anecdotal.
Everybody, yeah.
There are a lot of studies out there. I saw one that suggested companies that pivot 1 to 2 times are far more likely to raise more capital, like a factor of 2.5 times. They are more likely to have higher user growth of whatever their product is, so customer growth of like 3.5 times than people that don't pivot at all. So a couple pivots, one pivot,
Yep.
you should expect it, and you should be ready for that when that happens. And because it's a good thing at the end of the day.
It's a very good thing. And I think it signifies, one, you don't have a super dense, obtuse leadership that, hey, they can take in new data and make something actionable out of it. Like, hey, this isn't going to work that way. And just, again, PSA, closed circuit to anybody listening in the startup space, and you're ready to launch. If you think you have it soup to nuts on day one,
you don't.
You don't. You are going to hose it up. You're going to be chasing the wrong person with the wrong product, with wrong service. You don't have it right.
Yeah.
And I would be nervous if pre-seed, pre-revenue slide deck has no changes 18 months later. Yeah. I would be like, are you
doing anything?
Are you observing?
listening?
Are you observing the market? Are you listening? We nailed it. First iteration, we nailed it. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Because if that's what someone's telling you, they likely aren't intellectually curious. They're not thinking about, am I leaving money on the table? Is there another market I can reach? Is there another channel I can dip into? They're not having any, and that's okay from an execution standpoint. But if you're looking to grow your business and grow that value, you need to be thinking about constantly creating more value.
Well, and I've shared it on our show here before, when in our venture capital lives, when we're getting pitched, I really enjoy hearing from founders on what did they get wrong and what did they learn from it.
I've heard you say that before, yep.
Because it demonstrates all those things you just listed off of. You are intellectually curious, you are willing to learn, and you realize you don't have it all figured out. those are really great attributes for a founder. And I would expect that's part of the reason why founders that pivot are able to raise more capital. Not just because they need to, because you've got to, well, we were doing product A, now we're doing product B. We got to redesign everything. We need more capital. That's part of it. They're able to get that more capital, though, because they've got all these signals that they're delivering to the marketplace.
Josh, the most powerful words you can say in a pitch deck is, "This is what we've learned."
Yeah.
So if I'm pitching you or somebody else and I'm like, "Hey, for the first year of this company, we went out and we were selling on the back of the Wheaties box. And here's what we learned."
Do we need
that
to
doesn't
explain,
work.
Do we need to explain to people what a Wheaties box is?
That's kids, interns. That's a grain cereal produced by
Grain?
Well, it's not
Did
like
it have carbs in it?
Well, it's not like
Was it-
froyo or
Did it have gluten in it?
It's gluten. Oh my God. There's gluten in it. There might have been made in a factory with peanuts. I'm not trying to I don't know why I'm making fun of those guys. That's tough. Tragedy. Sorry about the peanut allergies out there. Maybe let's get back on top. So here's what we've learned. It doesn't work on the back of a cereal box.
Mhm.
We actually have to go put it on a website, or my reps need to go out and get to trade shows. Here's what we've learned. Because when we did that, sales shot up, which is why I think they can, to your point, once you've learned that and you've been curious, and oh, by the way, again, closed circuit, pretty pleased with sugar on top. Sugar on top. Have some KPIs that will be obvious to you that their pivot is necessary.
Yeah.
Hey, we tried doing this and I had one qualified lead for 3 months. When we did it this other way, we had 3 in a day. What do you think? Should we pivot to that?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we've learned, right? And it shouldn't be just the one data point. You should surround yourself. So why they can raise new money, Josh, is I think they're demonstrating, in a weird way, traction. Like, hey, we did it over here, but we've got it over here. Here's what we've learned. And now I just need more money, your money, in fact, to go execute that new trend in data, that new feedback I got from the customer, whatever that is. So to me, all that lines
some
up.
change and some pivot is necessary and is a really great thing. Can you have too much of a good thing? And where's the cliff where the event horizon where you just have such diminishing returns? And I've got some data that would suggest it's anything more than 2, but
Yeah. Well, doesn't it have to be driven? I'll even feel free to jump in on this answer because you and I have gone through some of these wars and just generally just thinking through it is, and I'm going to borrow something from my wife. What's your desired outcome here? What do you want to be the end result? And so that comes from your founders, your board. What do we want to do with this thing? Well, we want to build it to $20 million and exit with a multiple of whatever. Okay. So let's have that be the thing. Does anybody give a shit how we get there?
Mm-hmm.
Not really. Let's lie, cheat, or steal. Outside of that, let's go. Let's get there. And I think you can, so long as you're fulfilling that goal, you're reasonably safe.
Mm-hmm.
Any operator will tell you, though, you can't change your focus every quarter. If you're changing your focus or your pivot every quarter, you ought not to have started. You didn't know.
Yeah.
You didn't know enough before you started.
The CEO that pivots 3 times in 18 months is not a visionary. They're clueless and they've never had to deal with their consequences.
They're reactionary to the,
100%.
oh shit, this offer was so terrible, so whatever, so off the mark. Well said. So I don't know what the exact.
Been waiting to say that one for a while. No.
but it's one of the, I don't know what the exact math is.
Yeah.
You sort of know it when you know it, and likely your first iteration is directionally right. Usually, it's how you got there or the features, and then you make that pivot, and there's slightly some. So, but if you have to do more than 3 in 18 months, I'd start really pressure testing all of your assumptions, like all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's not great math, but I'm sure someone's going to come out in the comments and say, yeah, but Tinder made 5 pivots in the first year.
Well, I want to talk about that because a lot of times people will point to really famous pivots as justification for their pivot, whether it's their first one or their 5th one. And are you familiar with the story behind Slack? I know you love Slack. You're a big user of Slack.
I'm actually coming around. I know.
Are you?
I'm actually.
I wasn't trying to rage bait you, but
no.
You are actually. Oh, it's interesting.
I don't know the story.
What do you like about Slack now that they made you come around? I'm just curious.
It actually looks like people are working in there, and I can see their progress.
Interesting.
And I've come, and I now have, you'll love this. I have Claude plugged into
Slack.
Slack.
Yeah.
I've got Manus plugged into it. Hey, works
And
for
maybe
me.
Salesforce will be a sponsor here someday.
Maybe.
Now that we're coming around on Slack.
Salesforce, what's up? You looking good, girl.
So the story behind Slack is it was, I think the name of it was a video game. And
You're fucking choking me.
no, this is true. Oh yeah.
I don't know any of this story.
So it was
a video game
called Glitch, a horrible name for any, right? But it was a video game called
Call of Duty, but
Glitch. They had insane fan base in terms of they were really, really into the game. But there was like 3 of them. So it just, they didn't have the users that they had loved it, but they didn't have enough users. And so they discontinued the game. And we're like, well, we're just not going to be in the gaming industry. And so after they were shutting down the game, they realized that the in-product chat feature that they had built was actually really fantastic. And that's what people loved the most about it. And so their pivot was, let's take that chat feature within the game and make Slack out of it. And that's how Slack became to be. I mean,
I love it.
A massive pivot, right? Not even the same market.
Yeah.
Right?
That's like almost a salvage pivot. We're pivoting out of our existing business.
Yep.
Is there anything laying around we could use?
Fantastic. And so great example of a really well executed pivot, right? We needed to do it. We found a market fit that was out there for a version of our product. Let's go after that segment instead. Great story. And that's really difficult to do. And it's rare to find success in that. Where I struggle with that story is people usually use that to justify what they're doing. It's like, you're not Slack.
Yeah.
You're not going to have that same story. You're not going to get bought for a couple $1 billion by Salesforce because you made this.
When I think about, here's a really good pivot that I think everybody can kind of relate to. Remember first days of Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
First days of Netflix. And by the way, Blockbuster could have bought them. Everybody could have bought them for like $2 back in the day. And Netflix started off as a Me Too of Blockbuster, just their own, or they would license the CDs or the intellectual property, and they would stream them online. And this was before for the kids out there, and I'm looking at the interns now.
Well, early days, it was DVDs in the mail. You're talking after that.
This is when they said, we're not going to be able to compete with Blockbuster. Yep, it was. They went from hard DVDs and like, no, let's put it online. Let's do this thing called streaming. Everyone's like, what the hell is that? No, you just push play on your TV, on your device, and it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. They were the OGs of that, as the kids say, right? OG? You guys still say that? Yeah, I'm getting a thumbs up. Where was that going? So,
I feel like at some point we need to have anher camera that shows the interns. Like,
you just shut up. I just want to sit here. I'm getting paid for this, right? No. So here's their pivot. They're like, hey, let's do it streaming. They go, oh shit, how do we do that? The pivot they're talking about is not just from getting out of DVDs, because that wasn't that big of a pivot, because especially at the time wasn't. It was
whether it's true or not. Reed Hastings' story now is that was never a pivot. That was always his plan.
That's what I've heard too.
Yeah.
That's
debatable, but
here's the pivot I want to accelerate. Super successful plan. Nothing was really going wrong with what they were doing. Here's what they said. You know what would even be more interesting and make our thing great? We're going to make our own content. Remember that guy? We're going to do our own Netflix content. And everyone's like, what are you doing?
This is going to be awful.
This is going to be terrible. And then
Adam Sandler sold his soul to him for like $500 million and
run on him. Yes.
He makes a movie, like every 6 months on Netflix?
And some of the Netflix original stuff is some of the best out there. Now you've got Paramount Pictures doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Apple's got their own thing. It's this idea of they already are Paramount. I'm thinking specific. They already make movies. Why would you? No, we're going to make it specifically for our streaming services. Mm-hmm. That was a big pivot. I can't think of the number right now, but it is tens of billions of dollars they spend in original content. This is Netflix, in original content a year. Tens of billions.
This is a little nerdy, and I don't really care. I've often wondered what it's like to be in the financial planning and analysis function at Netflix because they have it. They're a huge company. They're publicly traded. Internally, they have to justify somehow that dollar amount and tie it to subscribers. And okay, every dollar we spend on our own content production drives this much on the platform. I would just love to get behind, like under the
Like what
hood,
shows make the
and
most impact?
see
Or
the analysis on it. Like, how do you guys justify? How do you greenlight $100 million for this movie? Because they're now to your point of they continue to pivot. They're now taking some of their original content and distributing it through traditional channels like
the
movie
theater?
theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peaky Blinders was one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then it
They
turned
took
into
the
a
series-
show. Yeah.
Well, no, they went show then movie, and I think they released it in the theaters. I think.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it went. But absent of that, there's no like ticket sales to say, okay, we
Yeah.
spent 100 million, we made 150. How do you justify putting that type of money into a project
Yeah.
because everyone's just paying a monthly subscription? So, not the point of this conversation, but I'm fascinated with how that analysis works. Amazon's a little bit different, where they're like, hey, every show we get on Prime, we can correlate to people buying a Prime membership. So
Yeah.
they've kind of got that going on there, but it's just it
No, I
fascinates me
think
how
there's some
they-
fun, but those are pivots that takes you off your core. What you were doing, my core was I'm just streaming other
Yeah.
people's shit.
Yep.
Now I'm streaming their stuff and mine. In fact, I might promote mine in front of theirs. Right?
I think it's even gotten to the point now Netflix is not even real concerned about securing rights to content that's
Not
not their
really.
own. They don't even care anymore.
Why not? I'll kill with Peaky Blinders or what's the
What's your favorite Netflix original
well the se-
series?
I loved Ozarks. That was good. Ozark. Do you remember that one? You're
Yeah.
Marty Bird.
Yeah.
You look like him. You act like him.
Thank you. It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. I forgot. No, I loved Ozarks. I forgot that was a Netflix
Like
one.
that's when I really like that got into.
Yeah. I really
And
like that one.
I'm blanking on it now, but I think think about the house that Paramount Plus built or who built their house. Yellowstone. So went Yellowstone, so went Paramount Pictures, Paramount Plus.
Mhm.
I mean, they had, good Lord, the Kevin Costner, the Taylor Sheridan, who's fucking brilliant. I know he's a jackass, but I will devour anything he's put
Oh,
out.
see, I'm OD'd on Taylor Sheridan.
Are you?
I can't. Are you into the new Yellowstone thing?
Haven't even watched it yet.
I can't.
It's not his stuff, so I'm not.
I can't.
Or is it? Did he write it?
No, he wrote it. Yeah, of course, he does everything. He touches every part of everything. I can't do another series of his. I just
like Landman.
Emotionally, I can't get it. I just can't.
Landman's nice. Landman's.
It's
It's
a
overact-
it's a
it's
great show.
overacted with the girls.
I wanted to, and then I can't. I can't get into another.
All the ladies get a little bit overacted in Landman, which is a little off-putting, but the other content's fantastic.
Every one of his shows has got like a weird daddy-daughter thing happening.
It's
and
a little
just-
different in Lawman too. It's
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
so pivots.
18 minutes ago, we got on a
18 yeah,
Netflix.
So, but it's so fun. See, future content.
Yeah, we'll
Ma-
find a spot for that.
Yeah, well, we should do the biz entertainment tonight sort of section of that.
Have you been in an organization
Where they pivot?
where you were not the decision maker around the pivot, but you were in an organization that pivoted?
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on this, but I don't know that I have.
You've always been the pivoter.
Slightly. Well, no, I'm thinking of something. I was just a cog in the wheel at Enterprise Rent a Car. But here's a pivot they've made, and really well done. I was the cog in the wheel, but it was pretty clear. Enterprise will pick you up slogan. That was their jam. And they were not always the biggest rental car company out there. Everybody went to the airports, and that's what they did. Hertz, Avis, budget, they sat at the airports, and that's what they did.
Mhm.
Enterprise was like, the airports.
Hmm.
I'm going to go to every dealership, every body shop. I'm going to put it into the neighborhoods where everyone's at. So Hertz would have 2 locations in the state of
Wait, so was
Minnesota.
Enterprise at the airports and then pivoted to this?
They were never at airports.
Oh, okay.
Originally. No, I think they had a few, but not many. That was like the outlier. Like they had one in St. Louis, probably because they were based out in St. Louis.
Yeah.
But their strategy was not because, again, like everything at the airport, to be a vendor there, it's an arm and a leg. So there was like, we'll take the countryside. We don't need any of this. So so if you got in a car accident, you needed a car, you'd get Enterprise because Enterprise negotiated a deal with State Farm, Farmers, USAA, Horace Mann, make all these
So while your car was in the shop getting fixed.
It'll be $30 a day is your coverage, right? And your Enterprise like, yeah, we'll take $30 a day for a month while your car's getting fixed. Sure. That's how they built their dining. Then they got so big, their fleet was almost larger than most of the other people in town. It's like, all right, we'll bid on a few airports. So their pivot was, while I was there, we're going to go onto the airports. On site, we're going to go there. And they did it, and they ate their lunch. They ate the competition's lunch. Now, I think Hertz is still independently owned. Avis, Budget, run on down the next, like, 4 of the next top 5.
I think Hertz is public, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But Enterprise Rent-A-Car bought all of them and ate them.
Oh, I didn't realize that they
Yes.
owned all of
A
those.
lot of them. Not
Really?
all of them. But like 2 of the top, because I think Avis and Budget merged and Enterprise took and ate those guys up. Some of those brands still exist. But anyway, their
That's
pivot
interesting.
into the really dodgy competitive world of on-prem. Because if you're booking, what do you do now? My SUV is $100. Well, the counter over it's $95. Which one am I going to book? I'm going to book the 95. So you'd have this race to the bottom until scarcity approached. Then you would jack up the prices. So super mature, really big, terrible margin business, high overhead. Their pivot was, let's get out of the body shop out of Lakeville, Minnesota, and go into MSP. And it wasn't to grab more dollars. It was to kill the competition. They are still, I believe, the largest purchaser of Chevy and Ford products, period.
I believe
They are the biggest buyer of automobiles on the planet, even more than the government. FYI. So that's a pivot I was a part of. And it was good. It was super genius. Everybody looked good when they did it. I wasn't there for the whole thing, but it was a decade-long sort of pivot. That's another thing. The pivots I think we're talking about happen pretty damn quickly. Intra-month, maybe.
Yeah.
Intra-quarter. It's going to happen pretty quick. This one I'm describing
You're making
was,
that drastic of a change. You're not doing it just for funsies. Like there's a fundamental issue that needs to be addressed.
every effort we spend on the old way is $1 wasted. We need to spend everything on the new way.
Yep. Cut, run, that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gas and match this fucking place.
Yep.
So
We've said that a couple times.
on very healthy companies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That's interesting. No, that's a great example, though. In a healthcare delivery company that we were working in, it was mobile and we were going to the patient, wherever the hell that patient was. Typically, it was
One stop, one visit.
their single family residential home. What we realized was, hey, we're never going to be able to get the efficiencies to scale this the right way, one stop, one visit. We've got similar patients that are in a long-term care setting, one stop, multiple visits. The care model that we
10,
had
20, whatever.
was
Yeah,
the
it was
same,
great.
but how we were going to go about it and scale was a pretty big pivot. And the care providers, and there was a massive change in how they were doing things.
Some of them didn't like it. Like, I don't want to go into a nursing home.
Yeah.
What the fuck you mean?
Yeah.
The patient.
This is why I'm doing this. I don't go in there. Yeah. And we would not joke, but somewhat heartedly, kind of lightheartedly would say, yeah, we're gas match, torch this thing.
Yeah, the old ways.
Old ways, the old way. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah. No, that is a good example.
And we made that change rapidly.
We changed our marketing. We changed who would be on sales calls. We changed the sales force of it. We didn't need 10 people in 10 markets. We could have rainmakers that knew people that owned skilled nursing facilities, those really big portfolios that have got multiple, intra-campuses.
That's another good point is the sales around that the original strategy was one patient was one patient. You had to go find that patient, heal them, you'd have to go find another patient.
Mm-hmm.
The other model was you go find a long-term care operator. They had multiple sites.
You find an aggregator of it. Yeah.
Multiple, patients at each site, and you don't have to keep heads and beds at those sites. They
Mhm.
do.
Yeah.
So it's just the whole sales cycle changed.
Just as an example, the last quarter we were there, we doubled our visit count
Yep.
because of the strategy we implemented a
From the-
year earlier.
Yeah.
We doubled our visit count in a
Yeah.
quarter from the rest of the year because of the pivot. So pivots work if you're seeing the if you're not wrapped up and you're really objective. In our case, we were doing the math. In order to do 100 more visits, I need 20 more nurse practitioners.
Mm-hmm.
Or I need to find one home.
Yep.
I know what's easier. I know which one's easier.
I mean, just the fundamental economics of those two models were so dramatically different. We had to cut and run in the other direction rapidly.
Yep. So what do you do, Josh? Because again, you've got a CEO that runs around, says, I want to pivot, I want to pivot, I want to pivot. You sit on the board, they're looking for money. I know you had some experience with me at some of our past activities. But as a kind of a different lens, as a board member, as the investor, as a VC backer, how do you think about it? Does it excite you, or is it like, okay, I'm glad you want to pivot, share more. What's it based on? Or have you found like you kind of come to that like the CEO and the board comes to that conclusion together? Or does the board say, this shit ain't working, you need to pivot?
It can be both ways. However you get to a true pivot, your board needs to be involved.
100%.
Whether
Good. Well
they
said.
instigate the conversation or if you bring it to them, it doesn't really matter because I've seen it happen both ways and everywhere in between. At the end of the day, the board needs to be involved and either formally approve the change or however, your governance works in that organization. Your board needs to be engaged in that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we would joke working with you is it felt like we had a pivot every day. In reality, it wasn't a true pivot. We weren't fundamentally changing the business model.
I think we did a lot of thought exploration. Like, what if we did this?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what scared the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And notice the circle had to be super tight on that. Because if you shared that with Susie, the operation, we're like, oh my God. Oh,
Yeah.
She clutched. There's no way we could do that because of all the. All right, I'm going to
And
keep
you just said it this way yesterday, and now we're going back to what you had on
like,
Monday.
I'm going to keep the circle tight. Like, we're just ideating people.
Yeah.
Just ideating.
Ideating. Ooh, that's a good one.
I got an MBA that I had to show up for, and it wasn't mailed. Well, maybe it was.
You know
mailed.
what my 8-year-old said to me the other day?
I
He's
can't
like,
imagine.
Dad, who's the smartest YouTuber that I know? And I'm like, easy, me.
Yeah.
He's like, no. He's like, Mark Rober.
Who's Mark Rober?
If you have a 8-year-old son, you know who Mark Rober is. He's a ex-NASA engineer, and now he makes engineering and science fun for kids. And he's
Love it.
got it actually is a really cool thing.
Who's the smart?
But he's like, do you even have a master's? I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, was he interviewing you? Is it in science? I'm like, no, it's not in science. It's a master's of business administration. He's like, well, Mark Rober's master's degree is in science. And I'm like,
Did he say PhD? Was that doctor?
I'm like, good for him. Good for him.
Not a doctor?
Yeah. Sorry. You made me think of that when you said you have a master's.
No, that I love it. But
it's not a master's in science. Apparently doesn't matter, Mike.
But how are you? So again, as a board, like obviously I know they need to be involved. My experience, tell me if this is true with you. The board senses it almost before the CEO does sometimes.
I would say almost always.
And
whether they've articulated it or not, they've picked up on the signals. If you've got a good board, they have.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a really inexperienced board that probably shouldn't be there for you. Mm-hmm. Maybe not.
Well, not only that, it's genius when they realize it together. That's the best scenario.
Yeah,
because if the board is coming to that realization before the CEO, then the CEO is a little obtuse.
Yeah.
If the CEO is running way ahead and like, oh my God, they don't see it, this is gonna be a shock to them. That's awkward, and you probably have the wrong board. But I tell you what most pivots get slowed down with or resistant to is the CEO or the founder, the one who's going to drag his or her feet, or they'll do it, but they're not bought into it, and the energy behind it is lame. Whenever we did a pivot, I always think I always had more energy, not less. I had more focus, not less, because it was data driven. Like we're like, no. Oh, we now know the secret. The secret is this way. This is the way to the treasure, not that way.
I agree, and that's how I would always feel. And I think that's just how founders and C-suite management types are wired. It's exhausting for people that are kind of frontline people, maybe middle managers. It feels exhausting to them because they just, blood, sweat, tears. I just killed myself. I missed Junior's birthday party last weekend to get product A out the ship out the door, and now we're going on to product B. Like it's tough for that crowd.
Yeah.
And that's part of why you see such a high turnover rate.
Well,
we talked about
it's
before.
on brand for you to be in touch with the frontline employees. That's on brand.
Yeah, I'm a man of the people. That's what people say. People have said. I've heard that. People have said that.
So now let's talk about pivot, if I may. Talk about pivot in this respect. Just because you pivot doesn't mean it's going to work.
Most of them don't.
Most of them don't. So let me hit you on this. So hot take, hot data, however you want to say this, 14,000 AI startups launched in 2024. So this is 2 years ago. 5,600 of them, 5,600, are already dead. So 40% of them have failed in less than 2 months, or 2 years, excuse me.
Yeah, and I'm sure they all had.
And they all had at least one pivot.
Yeah.
So, and even the ones that are around probably pivoted once or twice. So because you pivot doesn't mean you're going to be successful. What I would say is you will just go into the ditch faster if you don't pivot.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's also not a signal of don't pivot because pivots still fail. It's like no, not pivoting is
more guaranteed.
Yeah,
you're instead of 40% failure rate, it goes up to 95.
Yeah, exactly right.
Unless you get lucky.
I saw a statistic that 80% of founders have said they've pivoted at least once in their current company.
That's right. Again, and by the way, this is also a great segment for angel investors out there. If you're investing into a small company, a startup, and you don't have more than 10 investments under your belt, don't get shook. Or let me take it back. Anticipate,
expect,
predict, forecast. This guy or gal in front of me telling me they know everything about everything and this is the way it's going to go. Part of your de-risking of this you need to kind of get there and be like, okay, where is this going to blow up? Because the way they laid it out is not the way it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Direction, they're heading north. Doesn't mean they're going to hit Fargo. Right? That would be right north of here.
Yeah.
Because you could hit Bemidji. You could hit Minot. You technically be going north, you could hit St. Cloud. Right?
Like a little tour of the upper Midwest.
Yeah. So as an angel investor, you need to know, put your thinking cap on and say, where do they likely have it wrong? Where are they likely going to do it? And again, also as a board member, and where you think those weak points are, look for data to support it or deny it. Hey, I want to see data. I don't think we're actually going straight north. How do I know that?
I didn't think that's where you're going to go with this comment. I agree with it.
Yeah.
What I thought you were going to say is, as an angel investor, if you think you're investing in company A and it turns out to be company B,
yes,
don't freak out. Expect that to happen more often than not.
So you might want to definitely double down on the founder.
Yeah, it's the
and
person.
The team.
It's
and
the team that you're investing in. It's not at that stage. It's really not the ideal. Kind of is, but
yeah. The later you go, the more they've got that shit figured out, and now the valuations go up, but it's also because your risk went down.
Mm-hmm.
Early on, it's all risk, baby. It needs to be around that founding team or that management team or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's it for this round of Burn Rate and Bullshit, where the only thing we sugarcoat is our coffee.
If you like what you heard, great. And if you didn't, that's even better. We're not here to make friends.
Hit like and subscribe and send this to whoever needs to hear it. And remember, hype dies, execution wins. Stop pitching, start shipping.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.